Sit down, boy.
Sit down, boy. Be a good
Relax.
boy.
Relax.
Good morning. Good morning to all of our listeners. We are here once again. This time we're live and in person here in 3D at More Motivation. I am the co-host Troy Christopher Moore. We're here with the founder and the president, Mr. Kendrick Moore. Good morning, Kendrick. How you doing this morning?
Troy, man, I fought through a cold, so I think I'm doing okay right now. My voice is still shot a little bit, but as always, we got to come and deliver. So locked in and ready to go.
We gotta come and deliver. As much as we wanted this early Monday morning to sleep in and kind of NyQuil it out,
Right.
we had to come and deliver, man, because not only do we love what we do, but we love to bring the word to the people,
Right.
to you, the listeners. So as we do here at More Motivation, we like to give shout outs.
Yep.
We like to, talk about individuals, their accomplishments, businesses, and, put them on blast. So what is it that we have, or who is it that we have to shout out this week?
Yeah, Troy. So it's a couple things. One, with being a part of CASI IAC, we had our high school leadership conference on Friday, which we had, probably close to 500 plus kids, including staff. It's just a very, very powerful day of leadership, networking, really giving our students in Connecticut that edge, right? Having them attend something that gets them over the hump, that adds value, puts them in a space where they can compete, as we talk about with every kid in the country.
Yeah.
Like those types of events, man, the breakout sessions are powerful, informative. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Sherrod, who's a great guy, man, Brandon Sherrod, he's an assistant coach at Yale University men's basketball. So just a very, very powerful experience. I also want to say this, Troy, with our shout out. I just want to remind people, especially with the holidays being back to back with Thanksgiving and then the Christmas break, however you celebrate it or not, if you call it the name of it or not, the holidays can just be very emotional for people.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional time,
Right.
good or bad. And it's just so important to be grateful.
Yes.
Be grateful for the time
For
that we
sure.
have, the time we get to spend with our families. But also knowing it's a very emotional time, be sensitive to people, around the time, how we treat them. It's non-negotiable. We treat people right. But man, people go through so much, and especially with loved ones that are lost, those holidays can become, man, periods of just overthinking, sad and very, very emotional. So just want people to really be conscious of that, around these times, man. And just love everybody, man. Celebrate people as we talk about, but really be conscious of that.
Yeah, man, that is so true. And here in 2025, man, it's just you just never know what people are going through, what
for
people are
sure.
dealing with, man.
For sure,
So
for sure.
we have an opportunity. Definitely be grateful for where you are,
Right.
and try to help someone else with where they are.
Yeah, yep,
right?
yep.
So, man, that's an awesome message
Yep.
there to really get us started here
Right.
with the podcast today. So, now talk to us about last week. Some of the feedback we got was phenomenal.
Yep.
Continue to getting feedback in regards to the podcast last week. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, and the last few kind of tied into each other. Standard lessons within lessons. And then last week, which was clap for yourself. And again, it ties into that message that we gave during the shout out, man. Like people in spaces where they lose their identity.
Yeah.
And people are having a hard time finding themselves.
Yep.
They get so addicted to the applause, they don't know if the applause is for them or the thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
And then once they leave that space of the thing they're doing, their identity disappears.
Right.
And they feel lost and at a lower value.
Right.
So, that clap for yourself, we want to provide that, here on this platform to let people know that they're enough, like you're enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
and to really value and cherish yourself. And in those moments when you're alone, we hope you can build up the stamina and strength and belief in yourself that you're able to clap for yourself in those personal and private moments. So, man, this was a powerful conversation that connected with all.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, it's just an important thing to understand, being able to uplift yourself.
Man, powerful messaging. As I
Yep.
said, we're still getting, some phenomenal feedback
Yeah. Yep.
from individuals, man, in
Yep.
regards to that message, man. So it was a great job
Yep.
you and Crudy did with, reaching out and
Yeah.
being able to touch
Yep.
people in that particular way.
Yep.
All right. So now we kind of got roles reversed
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get right into
Right.
this,
Right. Right.
man.
Right.
Again, just super excited to
Yeah.
be able to be part of this,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Not just the content of what we do is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the consistency of
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
is what, because there's a lot of things that's up, down, do some off 3-4 weeks.
Right. Right. Right.
But to be consistent, because a lot of times what I get, I don't share it in the chat, but a lot of times what people share with me with feedback is they won't even really say anything about the podcast.
Right.
They'll just be like, "Man, y'all doing it again."
Right. 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 Right.
Man,
Right.
like, y'all do this every week.
Right. Right.
That be their feedback.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
y'all do this again this week.
Right.
Man? Like,
Right. Right.
is this your job? Like,
Right.
man, so it's just awesome to be able to, like I said, do this, man. So let's
Yeah.
get right into
Yeah,
this.
man. So
Throw it
no,
over to
I
you.
appreciate that, Troy. Because it is true, that consistency piece,
Yeah.
man. And as you say, we get on our end as well. Like sometimes people won't even give feedback to the podcast.
Right.
But if there's a week where I don't send them the podcast,
Right.
it's like, yo,
Right.
where the
People-
podcast at?
people
Where-
say,
I've been waiting for it. It's like
"Oh,
Thursday.
man,
Where the
Kendrick,
podcast at? You
come
forgot to
on,
send it to
man.
me.
Come on,
So
man.
in their
Yeah.
own way, they find value on
Right.
that Monday morning
Right.
to either get them going, interrupt their thoughts and get them on a positive note, man. So no,
Right.
we appreciate people, man, serious in our own way.
That is
But
something,
but
man.
with this podcast too, and our topic today, we gotta find ways too, because just imagine that, Troy. We say clap for yourself, and we got to get started. But
Yeah.
if we don't get feedback, because there was a time where we didn't get much feedback.
Right.
We had to find a reason to clap for ourselves and keep it going.
Correct.
Because we knew
Correct.
why we wanted to do it, who we
Correct.
were, the reason we did it. To really just, hey, this is why we doing it. We don't need validation
Right.
to know that we're out here trying to deliver a positive
Right.
message. So,
Right.
and with that, Troy, we kind of had a little brief conversation about maybe doing a follow up. But what is the topic that you have for us today?
Man, Kendrick, that is something, and that in itself is that could be a podcast.
What's that?
where it's because here's what I hear, like I shared with some people. They're like, man, y'all do this every week.
Right, right.
Some of the biggest impact that I believe
Yep.
that these podcasts are having on individuals,
Mm-hmm.
we may never hear from those people.
Right, right.
We may never hear
Right,
from
right,
them. You know
Right.
what I mean?
right. Troy, I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't know if we're going to start today. I don't know if
I'm
we're going to start
telling
the
you.
podcast. I've mentioned to you guys before, one day when I went to play basketball, this is, again, I go maybe once every 4 months over to the church to play
Yep.
basketball.
Yep.
And I usually get there early. I'm there shooting around. This guy walks into the gym, and he's probably going to hear this podcast. The thing of it is, I never knew he listened. And that day, he just came up to me and he said, listen, man, I just want to let you know what you and your brother are doing. Like, it inspires me every week. I'm like, he said, yeah, man, I listen to the podcast every week. Every time it goes up, I lock in and listen.
Wow.
And I mean, he went on. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, because he's somebody that never responds.
Right.
He never,
Right.
but when people get it in different ways, they have their own way of listening
Right.
to it. So
Right.
you're absolutely right, Troy. There are people that are getting a chance to listen to something positive, and it could really change the tide of their day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where, for us, where we have to continue to bring the consistency
Right.
and not fall into a space of, man, should we do it this week?
Right.
Nobody's responding.
Right.
Man, we can just take this
Right,
week off.
right.
We got 4 responses.
It's
Man.
just-
Let's just take a week off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
But then it can be 40 individuals that never respond.
Right. Right.
That is just impactful. Like
Mhm.
the young lady now, she's kind of just started this trend now
Right.
that she does a voice message every
Right.
week. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that first week when she did, I didn't send it to her. She sent me a text message, like,
Right.
because she know I'm up early in the morning.
Right. Right.
Like, hey, did y'all get the podcast? I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna send it over.
Right,
She's like,
right.
oh, okay, I'm gonna
Right.
listen. And, people listen to it like on their way to work,
Right.
and da, 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 da. So just that in itself of what we bring, and again, listeners, this is all about you all,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What we do. And we are just so grateful, man,
Mhm.
just so grateful. Man.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
this week, we've really already started the podcast.
Right.
We really have.
Right.
So this week, we're going to be talking about kind of a continuation of last week, a build up, you
Mhm.
know what I mean, in regards to the driving force.
Right. Right.
That's what we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
on this week, the
Yeah,
driving force.
yeah. And so a lot of people talk to us about when, that conversation of understanding how to clap for yourself. One of the biggest things we get to, Troy, I think people want to know a little bit more about how we handle those situations,
Yeah.
because some people struggle with the clapping for yourself or
Right.
don't know how to really get there.
Correct.
So I want to just ask you, Troy, just to start us off with this conversation of driving force, like, have you had moments where you've had to clap for yourself or didn't know how in certain spaces? Like, what does that really look like for you?
I'm telling you, people, in regards to that particular question, it's a great question. Before, it's just like when you fly in a plane,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when they're going through the emergency steps, the first thing they tell you is, before you help somebody, before you try to put a mask on somebody, put the mask on yourself
Right.
first.
Right.
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 So that analogy is one of the things that have helped inspire me
Mm-hmm.
to inspire others.
Big
Right.
time. Yep, for sure.
That I have to help me first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not and listeners, it's not a selfish thing.
Right.
It's just that if you just continue to pour and pour and pour, and now your cup is empty,
Right.
right? Now all of a sudden, emotions, bitterness, nobody care about me, and it's so easy to slip into a depressive state,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So definitely clap for yourself. Definitely, if you're a person that's single, take yourself to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Stop
Right.
looking for a date. Take
Right.
yourself on a date.
Right. You're worth it.
You're
Right.
worth it,
Right.
right? Because you could never, I stand on this. You could never enjoy another person's company if you can't enjoy yourself. Right? It's just impossible to say, I enjoy being with this person, but you don't enjoy you truly.
Right. Yep.
So that is how I see it, and that is how I face this thing on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis.
Oh man, Troy, man, that's listen. You talk about powerful content with just again that understanding, and I think, like I said, that's what people want to know, like
Yeah.
about they because with their feedback when they're asking questions or they're answering certain things, a lot of it, it kind of comes back to us.
Right.
It's almost like when
Right.
they give feedback, some of these people are looking for some dialogue, like
Yeah.
we can go back and forth
Yeah.
with them all day, like
Yeah.
because it's like, in a certain way, man, how do you handle that?
Right.
I do deal with this. How do you handle that?
Right.
So as we talk about the driving force, Troy, like what can you give the audience
Mm.
in terms of like understanding, like when we say driving force, that machine that works behind the scenes? How can you give
Mm.
our audience some advice on, how to keep that machine going called the driving force?
Wow, man, that's another
Yep.
big question. Um, you know, and it is not, listeners understand this, this is not a plug or to blow this up, but it's actual factual statement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the pieces is this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That we've heard so much feedback of how it has inspired others,
Right.
helped others. Like you talked about the young man in the gym, you
Right.
never even knew this guy, you would
Right.
listen to it, and
Right.
he's like, people who are now seeking after
Mm-hmm.
this particular content
Right.
and information, because you just never know what people are going through.
Right. Right.
And now this More Motivation podcast has become a safe space
Right.
where people are utilizing the content
Mm-hmm.
to answer the questions
Right.
that they have,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that has been a huge piece in regards to the driving force
Mm-hmm.
of what can help us get through a day, what can help us to get through a week,
Mm-hmm.
as we shared earlier, can help us to get through the holiday
Right.
season.
Right.
If we may have lost loved ones or certain triggers and trauma.
Right.
So that in itself has been so huge in regards to helping us to get over the hump
Right.
in regards to the driving
Right.
force.
Troy, man, like, and Kruti and I were talking afterwards because we could have went on, and then we're talking about some different layers. But
Mm-hmm.
when you say that podcast, I see it as like, if it's not something that you intentionally want to buy into, you're missing something very important that can help you through some critical moments.
Oh, without question.
I've had people talk about when they're about to make a decision, some information. And my man Joe Becton, he talks about podcasts from way back when, and he's reciting them like
Mm-hmm.
he just listened to it.
Yeah.
When he's
Yeah.
about to make a decision, how the message from the podcast pops up and supports him.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, so
Wow.
that
Yeah.
moment when you might be weak, that message rings to you and keeps you afloat. When you feel like you're sinking and can't swim anymore, it might be the thing that's your life jacket.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
sure.
you gotta be really, really intentional about that. And it's funny though, because as much as help is available or support is available, especially in situations like this, you find people that might be afraid in some sense. They might be in a space of fear when it comes to this understanding of clapping for yourself.
Right.
So what is your thoughts on that, Troy? Like, what's your thoughts on fear, and as it pertains to like this space and this conversation? Because and sometimes we wonder, like, man, getting better should be the thing to do, but it's like, if I do, what are my expectations after that? So that thought of fear may come in and keep them from really being themselves, man. What do you think about that, Troy?
Man, that again, that's another podcast. We just talk about fear.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Because that is the crippling place
Mm-hmm.
that stops us. And the thing about fear is, fear could stop 100-pound person.
Mm-hmm.
It can also stop a 300-pound person.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because fear is what attacks the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have to be very intentional, because we have these gates. There are gates to your mind. You got, obviously, the mouth is a gate,
Mm-hmm.
your ear is a gate, and your eyes are a gate, right? So we got to protect the gates. And that's what helps us with the driving force. Obviously, with the mouth, it's the things you say,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
we got to be very careful, because if we walk around all day, oh man, I'm never going to be this, I'm never going to
Right.
be this,
Right.
you're going to step into never being that,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that is part of the driving force. Then obviously what you listen to, what you hear. You got to be very careful about what you hear. If you're hearing a bunch of negativity, if you just all you hearing is, stuff that goes against what you actually believe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sooner or later you're
Mm-hmm.
going to fold and start to
Mm-hmm.
believe that,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then lastly, what you see. You got to be very intentional about things you're watching, TV, internet, all this other type of stuff,
Right.
distractions that's going against,
Right.
what is the motivating factor to get you in that driving force over that,
Right. Right.
particular place.
Yep.
And with that, the fear steps in and it then paralyzes
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
And just very quickly about, because I taught a class about being paralyzed, and I posed a question to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I posed a question of, if you were paralyzed from the waist down,
Mm-hmm.
would it be more frustrating knowing you couldn't use your legs, or would you just rather not even have them?
Mm. Mm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because now I got to look at this knowing
Mm.
I can't utilize them.
Right.
Just cut these off.
Mm. Mm.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And what paralysis is very simple. It's just there's a disconnect between the brain and that part of the body.
Right. Right.
So that's what fear does.
Mm.
It cuts off the signal between what you know you can do
Mm. Mm.
and what you believe you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but you just fearful. Oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to,
Mm-hmm.
do that. So that fear thing is so huge.
Oh man.
When it comes to you talking about the driving force, it is so huge. So I just want to make sure our listeners
Mm-hmm.
really, really hone in on, what fear can do to them,
Yeah. Yes.
and really have a greater understanding
Mm.
of, you should be able to do what you set forth to
Right.
do
Right.
as the driving force in
Right.
that.
Oh man, Troy. Just how you started that off with the gates,
Yeah.
when you talk about the things you say and when the things you hear, a lot of that is about being intentional
Mm-hmm.
too,
Yes.
about the things you choose to listen to.
Correct.
There's certain things with discipline. It's one thing to not do it, but it's another thing to not surround yourself or put yourself in spaces like that.
Correct.
And I think that's what
Correct.
hinders a lot of people when it comes to, the thing about being able to clap for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They put themselves in harmful situations. They put themselves in the wrong spaces where they see these false images or
Mm-hmm.
get this false applause,
Yeah. Right.
and then it builds up when they're not. Oh man, so that's big time, Troy, because it that driving force is a real thing to
Yes, it
be
is.
able to own and have. And there's so many people that don't
Yeah.
understand it are without it. And with that being said, Troy, I would just like you to close us out with that, like the driving force. Like, what is it that keeps that engine going in you? Like, what's that
Mm.
driving force in you that pushes you to be each and every day to become a better version of yourself?
Mm. Is for me, and this is really, it's weird,
Mm-hmm.
really. The driving force for me is so much failure I've had,
Mm. Mm.
right? Because we got a choice
Mm-hmm.
to make with
Mm-hmm.
failure.
Mm-hmm.
We can either say, "Ah, man, I failed and I ain't gonna be able to do that," or we
Right.
could say, "You know what? Okay, I failed at that. Let me try something different," or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it just wasn't the time to do that,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So now when we're talking about being intentional, you have to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, just like with this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
it's intentional
Right.
every week,
Right.
whether
Right.
we sick, whether we
Right.
in three different time
Right.
zones.
Yep.
We got to try to figure something out.
Yep.
That's the same pursuit we're supposed to be in regards to the driving force for our own lives.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yep.
So more motivation has been such a consistent basis
Mm-hmm.
that it has taught me even how to, man, I don't really want to do this. Or you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Man, we've been doing this
Right,
for
right,
140
right,
weeks.
right,
Like
right,
we look, we
right,
got to get at
right,
this.
right,
We got
right,
to get at this.
right.
So that's one of the things, listeners, that you really have to be intentional about, whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, right? Just because you failed,
Mm-hmm.
you missed
Mm-hmm.
the mark, or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that you cannot do it.
Right, right,
You have to
right.
just get back up, dust yourself off,
That's right.
and get back at that
That's
thing,
right. Yep.
right? So we are truly, truly in a place, especially you see what's going on in this world with
Mm-hmm.
everything that's happening. We're truly in a place where we actually have the upper hand,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? When
Mm-hmm.
we have that driving
Mm-hmm.
force,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have the upper hand,
Right.
and we can't just keep using excuses, right?
Oh
Because
man.
that's the platform for failure.
Yeah.
Whenever we say, "Oh, we making all these excuses," you've already failed.
Right. Right. Right.
You've
Right.
already failed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have to be very intentional and push ourselves forward in regards
Yeah.
to the driving force.
Right.
And just a quick little bonus,
Mm-hmm.
if we could just throw a quick little
Yep.
bonus in, because now I want to just shift this over to you for this last
Yep.
part of what are some of the things that you do consistently, right? That you're very intentional about, that even at your lowest, you say, I got to do this, right? So, how is it that what keeps you going in
Right.
that particular space?
Troy, listen. We just think about it the other day, like probably second day you were here, and man, how sick I was that day.
Yeah.
And you kept asking me, you got a fever, you got this, you got that, you know. And then I ain't even want to say it, but I was just like, you said, oh, did you leave the house? I was just like, yeah, I went to the gym. I went to the gym. Because, Troy, my routine is critical.
Right, right,
My routine.
right,
Like getting into a great space
right.
mentally. Like I
Yeah.
have to do it
right,
to be at my best. Like I want to be really good for other people. Like you just said it. Like take care of yourself first.
right.
And I
Right.
don't know if running out in the cold, I was all bundled up, is necessarily the best thing. But this part, like taking care of
Yeah.
myself first, I know what works for me to get to a space and be good for others. I know what works.
Right.
I've mastered that part. And when
Mm.
you see the results over such a long period of time, it's not like if I didn't do it, the stamina built up from all the other times wouldn't have come into play, because that's what happened. I've done it so many times. Right. It's almost like this podcast. If we miss a week, it's not like the impact from the other weeks won't take its place and fill in, but we're just so disciplined and understanding the impact that we're not going to miss it.
Right. That's right.
We're not going to miss
Right.
it.
That's right.
You know, let
That's
it
right.
build up some other time. We
Right.
all laid up somewhere in somewhere else, and we
Right.
still gonna try to get on and do it
Right.
anyway.
That's right.
So my
That's right.
routine is critical.
Mm.
It's critical. Like that's a huge part of my driving force. That's a huge part of making sure I stay in the mindset of understanding the people that poured into me, the places that I've been that gave me the inspiration, the people that I get a chance to see that provided me so much to clap for myself. So I appreciate you sharing that, Troy. Your message was unbelievable today in terms of the driving force, following up for clap for yourself. But for our audience members today, understand the purpose of the driving force so you can get to the point where you continuously clap for yourself. So lock in.
Listeners, you've heard it here. Make sure you tune into this one. And most importantly, we want to hear from you. We love to hear the feedback. We love to be walking in the grocery store, wherever we are, somebody stops us and say, hey,
Yeah.
we love to hear from you, and et cetera. So we're on Spotify, Podbean.
Yep.
Also, because we're live and in person, the YouTube channel. So check us out, and we want to hear from you. So once again, here at More Motivation Podcast, We truly appreciate you. Have a great holiday season. And until next time, take care.
Yeah.
I just want to thank my son, Kenrick Moore, for dedicating his life to helping our youth. I know it's a tough task, but keep up the good work with more basketball clinic. I'm proud of the man you have become. I love you.